Referee today, David Coote from Nottinghamshire, last seen as the referee at Wembley in the League Cup final. He was also VAR for Newcastle's win at West Ham a couple of weeks ago. Simon Bennett and Timothy Wood are the assistant referees. Fourth official is John Brooks, and on VAR duty today we've got Neil Swarbrick, assisted by Richard West. And the two sets of players high five. The referee and his team and now greet each other, walking down the line with a mascot each in black and white. The Newcastle players, as they take off their black and white training tops to reveal the black and white striped shirts, black shorts and black socks for Newcastle as usual. Pope all in yellow, wearing short sleeves. And Spurs today are wearing their change kit, which is blue, quite a bright blue. Same colour just about all the way through, with a bit of pattern on the jerseys, white letters and Lloris, the goalkeeper, with luminous green as he goes to the centre spot with the referee, and joined by Trippier to contest the coin toss. It's BBC Radio Newcastle. Welcome to you if you've been listening to us on DAB and Freeview, where we brought you commentary of Sunderland's late win at West Brom in the Championship playoff race. Here it's about the Champions League push, with Newcastle in fourth, 3 points ahead of Spurs, directly below them in fifth, and United with a superior goal difference and still a game in hand. The visitors, Lloris in goal, Porro, Romero, Dyer and Perisic, with Sarr, Højbjerg and Skip in midfield, Kulusevski, Son and Kane in attack, and a bench of four to the keeper: Sanchez, Richarlison, Danjuma, Tanganga, Davies, Longley, Devine and Mundle. And Newcastle United with one change to the side today: Pope in goal, Trippier, Schär, Botman, Byrne, Longstaff who replaces Gordon, Bruno and Willock, Murphy, Joelinton and Isak up front, and the substitutes: Dubravka, Lascelles, Gordon, Wilson, Ritchie, Target, Manquillo, Almiron, Anderson. It feels big, it sounds big, and a win would be monumental potentially, Ando, for what it would do for Newcastle and how it could harm Spurs, who are looking to reel them in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a win here today obviously opened up a bigger gap, and the Spurs will have played a game more, so, and all of a sudden games are running out. And as I said earlier, Razor, it's down to us. You know, if we keep winning games, nobody's going to be able to catch it. It's as simple as that. So really, the fate is in our own hands.
Newcastle are unbeaten this season in all 8 matches played on a Sunday. They need another good result this afternoon, and we're underway on BBC Radio Newcastle and NUFC TV. Spurs have kicked off, and Newcastle are kicking up the hill towards the Leazes end in the first half. And as we look at the pitch, that is from right to left, as the rain starts to fall.
You put the mockers on it, didn't you?
I did, sorry.
Saying it was nice.
We always get soaked here at the front of the Millburn stand whenever the rain comes down. They've won it back, Newcastle. We've played 35 seconds. Trippier to Isak, who's dropped off, goes back into midfield looking for Willock. It's spun away. Dan Burn gets his left boot to the ball. Tottenham header on. Sarr stopped by Joelinton. Longstaff to Isak. Joelinton now gets it wide left from Bruno into the area. Joelinton's got space, might hit it. Joelinton, good save. The rebound is put in, and Jacob Murphy has put it into the net after only a minute. What a start at St James's Park. Jacob Murphy following up after Joelinton's shot was pushed away by Lloris, and it's Newcastle United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0.
Well, what a start that is. I mean, it's just opened up for Joe Linton. They backed off him and backed off him. Good strike, decent save by Lloris, but Murphy can't miss back post. Great start. What, 64 seconds? Unbelievable.
Jacob Murphy scoring for only the second time this season. Well onside, following in, right side of the 6-yard box, and the Newcastle supporter, who's playing an important role this season, has delivered a huge early goal to make it 1-0. Some fans had barely sat down, some hadn't even taken their seats, and it's just what they needed from the off, after being accused of starting slowly in the last 3 games. They've gone in front after a minute. Tottenham throw on the right wing, Kulusevski to skip into the corner, stopped by Byrne, Botman into Bruno in the box, plays it across his own penalty area. It's gone out for a throw on the far side, but they dealt with the immediate danger, and Jason Tindall and Eddie Howe are currently in the ear of the 4th official over the Tottenham throw a few seconds ago.
Yeah, it can be in his ear, but they're not bringing it back.
Taken from the wrong place, I think, was it? Or
yeah, it was, yeah.
Spurs switch it from left to right, and Dan Burn sees it out for a throw. Now, he had a tough game, and they all did, against Kulusevski last season. He's certainly a danger man, isn't he, on this near side in the first half of Tottenham, as Joe Linton wins a free kick from Skip and plays it into Bruno in the middle, over to Trippier. Good ball, goes forwards into the Tottenham half with his first touch, galloping away down the right wing. Goal scorer Murphy up ahead, it's inside to Isak, who's dropped off and rolls it to the wing to Murphy, gets into the area, Isak around the defender, still going, Isak's shot is blocked and it's a corner.
Well, it's a bright start, it's a real bright start. Spoke earlier about we need to start on the front foot, you know, we need to start with a good tempo, and that's exactly what we've done here today.
Ball is placed down in the corner by Kieran Trippier. Willock on the edge of the penalty area, right side Bruno, hands on hips on the left. Trippier sticks it in, good ball, headed across the box by Cher. Bruno keeps it alive for Newcastle. Murphy available. Bruno low ball into the box, cleared by Romero for Spurs. Over to the far side, header on by Cher under pressure. And the visitors away. Dan Burn currently on the right wing, recycling the ball. Cher forwards. It's relentless stuff from Newcastle. 1-0 up inside the 5th minute. Willock down the line to Burn, 20 yards out. Trippier digs out a cross into the area. Willock attempted to flick it on, but it's cut out. Burn is intercepted in midfield. He's everywhere, the big man. Trippier on the touchline on the far side, plays it back into his own half to Cher. Diagonal ball, Joe Linton making the run. Joe Linton's in, he's gone around Lloris and makes it. Joe Linton with an absolutely brilliant finish from the ball over the top, around Lloris and into the net. And it's a quite incredible start in a match of huge importance in the Champions League race. They've hit Spurs with 2 early goals. Murphy with the first, Joe Linton with the second. Newcastle United 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0.
That's awful defending by Spurs. Straight ball is a Porro who ducks under it and just lets it go straight through to Joe Linton, who can't believe his luck. And it's a great finish. No, not offside, nowhere near. I mean, centre-back's got to go and head that. People just don't want to defend anymore. No, it was Romero who ducked under it. But nobody wants to defend anymore. All want to play.
The way he took that down with a beautiful first touch, and then around the goalkeeper. It's a sort of finish that many thought he wasn't capable of when he was playing as a lone centre forward, but transformed into a midfield machine, scoring goals. Joelinton.
This could be anything.
And they're looking for a third Newcastle share to Joelinton. Dispossessed, 30 yards out. Murphy chasing it into the corner with Pedro Porro, who got in all sorts of trouble and has conceded a throw. Burn to Joelinton, back to Willock. Oh, they're fully in charge. We haven't even had 7 minutes and it's 2-0. Sean Longstaff in from the right side to Botman in the centre circle. Willock sporting a new hairstyle, braided hairstyle. Joe Willock down the left wing to Joelinton, back to Byrne and Botman. 2-0 up on BBC Radio Newcastle. Isak in between the two Spurs centre halves as Byrne plays a 1-2 with Willock. It's just taken away from him, but Bruno has the loose ball, and what a pass that is, outside of the right boot to Trippier. Oh, into midfield just behind Longstaff. Spurs to the feet of Kane, and Kulusevski now back to Porro. Romero edge of the box up towards Kane, plays it around Botman to Kulusevski. He's taken it back into the middle of his own half to Sarr. It's only his second Premier League start, Pape Sarr. The other was in the North London derby. Cher, strong out of defence to Wheat. Son to the ball. Murphy's had a go from one. Oh! Jacob Murphy has scored an absolutely unbelievable goal. This really could be anything. It's Newcastle United 3, Tottenham Hotspur 0, and we haven't even had 10 minutes. And Murphy, whose first goal was a tap-in, has delivered a quite brilliant third. A swerving right foot shot from 30 yards. Lloris didn't move, and Jacob Murphy with 2 goals, and Newcastle United 3, Tottenham Hotspur 0.
What a hit, what a goal that is. Spurs give it away, trying to play out from the back. Son has his pocket pinched, and we know he can hit it, and that's an unbelievable hit. It's a great strike. They just back off him, they don't close him down, invite him to hit it. Lloris never moves. 3-0.
Oh, Murphy is certainly capable. Doesn't score enough, but today he's got 2, and they'll be so delighted for him. But I mean, what about this? I haven't seen anything like this. Tottenham are a shambles, but Newcastle is Murphy's offside play down the right wing. Christian Stellini's having a chat with one of his coaches. They've gone to a 4 after criticism of the way they've been playing with a 3-man central defence.
They're all over the place. Spoke about it beforehand about the Spurs having a soft centre. It's all been shown today, hasn't it? They look all over the place. And you're right, I mean, what? 10 minutes gone, this could be absolutely anything.
Ball over the top, Son chasing, Pope catches. Might be the first time he's touched the ball. Could have had a deck chair out, Nick Pope, and watched the first 10 minutes. Newcastle 3, Spurs 0. Murphy on a hat-trick with a ball to the left wing to Joelinton. Not content with 3, they want 4, they want more. Willock to the edge of the box, cut out by Skip, almost won back by Willock. And Sarr in a bit of trouble, back to the keeper. Oh, and Isak almost intercepted. Lloris has put his clearance out into touch on halfway.
They're all over the place.
Cher inside to Botman, who comes up to halfway. Byrne, Joelinton on the left. Willock goes down the line. It's into Botman, inside to Bruno, moved on quickly. options to the right. It's going to drop for Trippier in front of Murphy. 3 in the middle. Isak laid off, back to Trippier. Or it's going to come to Bruno instead. Plays it through. Just beat Longstaff and Murphy. The ball between Tottenham defenders, and that's a goal kick.
Yeah, great vision, Bruno. You could see what he's trying to do. Big space there, just trying to get it in behind that Spurs back forward. Just a little bit too much pace on it.
Been a couple of minutes since they scored. After 3 early goals, maybe Tottenham will try to settle it down and get some sort of presence in the game, but they've got a mountain to climb. They've got a long time, but it's a hell of a long way back as Skip makes a run onto a forward ball into the area. The cut back for Kane!
Oh, he's put it wide.
Harry Kane so close to reducing the arrears with a well-struck shot from the edge of the box that fizzed past Nick Pope's post.
Yeah, he got in behind, didn't he, down that right side, Skip. Good pull back, good hit. Always drifting wide though, isn't it? In step. Always drifting away from Pope's right hand post. The only thing about it, 3-0 up inside 10 minutes, you don't want to get too complacent.
Eddie Howe is talking to his defenders as Pope goes long with the goal kick, and Joelinton heads on. Willock towards Isak, who knocks it around Romero, but covering is Eric Dyer, and the England international plays it to Lloris. Byrne wins a throw in front of Kulusevski, who's a big lad, 6 foot plus, but Byrne still has the physical advantage there, you would say. And into the Tottenham half on the near left side, throws it to Bruno, back towards Byrne. Skip makes the challenge. Kane comes away down the right wing. Bruno sticking with him. Harry Kane for Tottenham, back to Oliver Skip, tackled by Bruno. Joelinton to Botman, and then on to Bruno, and Joelinton over to Trippier, who collects the ball, brings it down. Share forwards. Murphy on his chest, facing his own goal near halfway. Fouled by Dyer. David Coote blew for a free kick, and the match will be stopped. It's Newcastle's ball. It's 3-0. And they will go back up to third. Newcastle with a win today, goal difference, because Manchester United aren't playing in the league. They've got the FA Cup semi-final against Brighton later. Joelinton free on the left, and Cher switches it. One bounce on his chest. Back to Byrne. Spurs get players in position as Bruno was getting away from Skip, but was fouled. A couple of early goals for West Ham at Bournemouth, who lead 2-0 West Ham. Trippier to Cher. In it comes to Botman, takes the first touch into the centre circle. Angled ball to Bruno, round the corner out to the wide area to Trippier. Murphy down the line, Longstaff as well. It's Isak who's dropped into the hole, picks it up and heads away towards the left. Isak carrying it a long way back to the right, and then finds another black and white shirt. Really good play. Trippier to Murphy, laid off to Bruno. So many black and white options there. Trippier's cross behind off Dyer for a corner.
Yeah, they've got them all over the place. Spurs can't live with it. Football slick, moving the ball quickly. Spurs just haven't got the legs to live with it.
Trippier, out swinging corner, is incoming towards the back of the box. Botman heads it over. Sean Longstaff missed his kick. Botman's got it again and has lifted it away, but it's come to Son, who's knocked it around Trippier, and there's Sven Botman on halfway, galloping back to play it to the goalkeeper. Pope on towards Trippier, headed forwards. by Perisic, who they signed from Inter Milan on a free in the summer, the Croatian international. And it's Tottenham with possession. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg to Pape Sarr in midfield, heading closer to his own goal. Dyer across the 18-yard line to Romero, back to Lloris, clipped out to Pedro Porro on the near side, and he's chested it down. That's a nice ball inside to Oliver Skipp, who wants to run forwards from midfield. The 22-year-old who came through the Spurs academy. Porro to the tall, wiry frame of Sarr in the middle. Similar build to Isak, most muscular. He's probably learning a lot about the Premier League out there, Pape Sarr.
Yeah.
Joe Linton's got hands on him as he tries to run towards Porro to give him an angle for the throw. It's a couple of yards behind halfway. 3-0 Newcastle. And you didn't miss here, it is 3-0. Share with a header towards Longstaff and Murphy, who's got 2 of the goals and could be away, but he trod on the ball just when he got past the centre circle. And the away side have it back. Kane, who's had their only effort, and it was just wide. Very deep there on the ball. Sarr to Højbjerg, diagonal ball, trying to get Kulusevski in on his thigh. Byrne makes the block, and then a tackle and a good challenge, and Bruno rolls it forwards and passes it to Willock. And
he's in!
Oh, Willock, what an unbelievable ball! Alexander Isak, one-on-one! Did you expect any other outcome? They've got 4. Isak with a straightforward finish from a most unbelievable setup from Joe Willock. An incredible ball with the outside of the right boot, and this is turning into something unforgettable at St James's Park. Dan Burn ran to the bench to celebrate. The players all, the others ran to the corner. Substitutes on the touchline joined in. Alexander Isak goes back to the fans with clenched fists to celebrate Newcastle United's 4th goal in what has been a first quarter of the game that has seen Tottenham Hotspur absolutely blown apart. Isak the scorer. Newcastle United 4, Tottenham Hotspur 0.
Well, it's just opened him up. What a ball that is with the outside of his right boot. Spurs reverted to a back 4, and they're all over the place. But what a ball, what a finish.
An outrageous pass from Willock. Isak now scoring another goal, and the one thing you would say is that you don't see that being the end of Newcastle's goal scoring.
No.
And I don't just mean in the game, I mean in this first half. Here they go again. Longstaff into the corner on the right. Back to Isak. Has another goal! This is outrageous! Alexander Isak has scored 2 goals in 2 minutes, and Newcastle United have 5. I can't believe it. What can you say? This is like nothing we have ever seen before. Isak, right side of the area, drilled it into the far corner beyond Lloris, and it's 5-0. Tottenham players don't know where to look, and Newcastle just look absolutely unstoppable, unbeatable. And this could be the day.
Oh, it's incredible
that you say this is the one that gets them back into the Champions League. It could be that significant to them and to Spurs. It's 5-0.
Oh, It's unbelievable. And it's not finished yet, because every time we go forward, Spurs, you look like you're going to get a score against Spurs. I mean, Spurs fans are already leaving. It's incredible.
There'll be a train at...
Go on, they'll give it to you. Go on.
They'll make the 3 o'clock train if they get to the station now. Those Tottenham fans. And I mean, the point I was about to make, Ando, before they went and scored the 5th goal, is that the Tottenham bench, there was nothing going on. They've got one player warming up, Tanganga, I think, a defender. Christian Stellini's was stood there.
Yeah, but who do you take off?
Well,
you take all 11 of them off, because they've been shocking.
They can only make 5. This is Kane down the right wing. Son in the middle, skip there as well. Burn with a block, Tottenham corner.
I mean, I don't think it makes any difference what changes you make. This Spurs side is all over the place. I mean, it's a club that's in total turmoil. They're in total turmoil here today. They've got another 70 minutes to see out yet.
22 minutes, 45 seconds gone.
They're making a substitution.
Newcastle United 5, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Pape Sarr, his second start, he just got to the halfway point in the first half, and Davinson Sanchez, who was booed off last week, the Colombian international defender, is on. Newcastle fans are applauding Sarr. I think that might be slightly sarcastic, although it might be sympathetic. Christian Stellini has a word with him as the corner comes in. Sarr, as he takes his seat on the bench, they're obviously changing the system, going back to what they knew with the 3 at the back.
That didn't work.
Worked a hell of a lot better than 4-3-3. Skip on halfway, Porro. Oh, Willock slipped as he put the press on, and it's back to Lloris. Long ball forwards. Cher rises to head away from Kane. Højbjerg on. Trippier nodding it down for Bruno.
He's in again. Go on,
Joelinton into the left corner, pursued by Porro. Joelinton has it on the floor. 2 Spurs players there. Scoops it back to Willock. Bruno's got a man on, it's Kane. Cher to Botman. Bruno at the front of the centre circle. Trippier wants it. He's got arms outstretched, he's screaming for it. It eventually goes there. Nobody in black and white in the box yet. 5-0 the score on 25 minutes here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Trippier back to Bruno. Lots of Spurs bodies in the way of the goal.
Oh, unlucky.
Went to thread one through for Isak, who, like Murphy, is on a hat-trick. And now Kane to Son. Danger here, left side of the penalty area. Son Heung-min gets away from a couple of challenges. Oh, it's behind off Burn. Threaded through ball towards Kulusevski, who might not have been getting there, but Burn diverted it behind.
Yeah, I don't think he knew a great deal about it, Dan Burn. I think he's twisted his knee a little bit as well by the looks of it. He's feeling that right knee.
Bruno has got a bit of an issue. The physio comes running on with his medical bag.
Get him off. Why take a chance with him?
Bruno's gone hobbling over to the far side. Eddie Howe was asked on Friday at the press conference about whether Bruno's still having bother with his ankle. I don't know which part of his body he has hurt, but Elliot Anderson and Anthony Gordon are warming up. Tottenham corner, played back to Kulusevski, and he's gone around Willock, and he's gone for the shot, and he went to aim it towards the far top corner, but it's too high.
He just dinked it, hasn't he? There was nothing about it. It's just dinked inside, and he's just dinked one. Dan Burn, yeah, coming to the bench as well.
Well, Bruno has come back on. Almiron's gone to warm up as well. It's 5-0 up Newcastle. Tottenham completely overwhelmed and outclassed, and their top scorer this season isn't even on the pitch. They fancy a piece of this, they all will. So will Callum Wilson. He'll be frustrated, but he'll be licking his lips as well. Trippier for Murphy, stretching the Spurs defence. Good ball to the back post, headed behind by Porro.
Every time we go forward, you think goal. Spurs are just getting ripped apart.
It's on this near side. Burney's in the box. Looks all right. Trippier to take again. Murphy and Bruno on the edge of the area. Willock and Bruno on the edge of the box. Sorry, Murphy's gone back into the middle of the Tottenham half. And Trippier with the first corner from the Newcastle left on the 28th minute. It's towards the front post, headed away by Spurs. Willock back out towards Trippier, and that's a bad foul on Joe Willock from Kulusevski, and the referee went into his pocket and produced a yellow card for Dejan Kulusevski. Willock caught late after heading the ball on. It's a bit of a swipe down the thigh with the studs, Ando.
Yeah, can't do that. Shoot.
Well, everything else has been going in.
Exactly. Go on, shoot.
Trippier, I think it might be too far out for him.
Maybe.
Against his old club. Tottenham, everybody back. Son, the furthest player forward on the edge of the D. Newcastle 2 in the middle of the half. Trippier 30 yards out, left of centre, lifts it in, but Lloris catches. It was too close to the Tottenham goalkeeper.
Is that the first time he's come and got a ball? He hasn't made a save yet, has he?
Just from the Joe Linton shot that Murphy put the rebound in.
Oh, yeah, he's made one save.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
He's made one save. He's picked the ball out in net 5 times, though.
I hope you've been with us throughout the match, but if you've just got into the car, put the radio on, or got home and switched us on BBC Radio Newcastle, it's been
brilliant.
It's been brilliant. It's been like nothing we've ever seen before. Newcastle 5, Tottenham 0. Murphy with 2, Isak with 2, Joe Linton with the other. Porro trying to attack, gets there before Burn, edge of the penalty box. Son with a shot, Kane, it just hit him and ended up in the hands of Pope, who drops it at the feet of Trippier. And there's plenty of hunger and desire about this Newcastle side, who want more. Down to Joe Linton, who's inside. Willock's gone out to the wing. Porro makes the tackle. Willock's gone down again.
Good tackle. Nothing wrong with the tackle.
And then he's picked himself up, Joe Willock, as Tottenham continue to attack down the right. Kulusevski spins away from Burn, who played it off him. It's a goal kick. It's the decision they wanted. Isak's 2 goals have taken him to 10, and that's now 3 players in double figures this season, with Wilson also on 10 and Almiron leading the way for Newcastle with 11. Joe Linton, by the way, has 7 now this season, not including the one at Brentford, which was given as an own goal, and that's the most he's scored in a season as a Newcastle player.
Again, another couple
Joe
today.
Linton. He might well do. Isak trying to help the ball on. Porro to Dyer, and Højbjerg out to Porro, just kept it in, intercepted by Joe Linton, but it's gone out.
Lucky.
Now the rain has come back. Take the throw, Tottenham play it towards defence. Cher putting Son under all sorts of pressure, and Murphy with a block on Perisic's ball inside. It's a throw for the visitors on the far side of the field. 5-0 to Newcastle, 32 minutes. Byrne wins a header from Porro, then a second to nod it back towards Joelinton, on by Kulusevski, who was caught, and free kick for Tottenham.
You look at players' body language. You look at Højbjerg, you look at Perisic, you watch their body language, and they would rather be anywhere else than where they are. And that was from kick-off. They just don't look interested.
There's 2 wins in 6. Tottenham before this, 2 draws, 2 defeats in that run.
Oh dear.
That's a Newcastle throw. Porro against Byrne, but out off the Spanish fullback, who was previously at Man City, Pedro Porro, but he didn't play for the first team. 35 yards out, Byrne with a throw. Isak controlled, but then was dispossessed. Skip, bit of space in midfield. Referee gets out of the way, and Højbjerg across to Perisic. Steps over halfway. Down the wing he goes. Never mind the 5-1 in May 2016. What about the time that hit Spurs for 7? Right at the end of Kevin Keegan's reign. It was December 96. Could emulate that. Bruno fouled.
I'd like to see that one again.
Either Porro or Skip, maybe a bit of both. And referee David Coote with a Newcastle free kick the decision, and they've already got themselves going again. Trippier. Back to Cher, and Botman and Byrne. Joelinton is pulled out wide left, first time into Bruno. Oh, late was Skip on Bruno, yellow card. You could see that one coming though, couldn't you? You could see what was happening in slow motion.
Yeah, total frustration. And just launched himself, didn't he?
Bruno didn't react. Skip knew exactly what he was doing. Willock and Joelinton having a good chat. Joelinton then comes over to Jason Tindall for a word. Sean Longstaff back in the team today, and the only change for Gordon, with a touch and a pass back to Cher. Bruno right side out towards Murphy, but too far out, and that's gone for a throw. 10 minutes to half time. Spurs will wish it was 10 minutes to full time. Quite a few empty seats in that visitors section at the top of the Leazes end. Ball down the line, Cher's kept it in, but it's been won by Højbjerg, and Cher with a good challenge on the floor to put it out for a throw. Kane, who's basically in central midfield, holds off the attentions of Willock to play it back to Romero, the Argentinian international. Dyer, ball forwards, right-footed from the left, cut out by Byrne. Willock to Bruno, and Højbjerg got back to him just in the nick of time. And it's with goalkeeper Lloris. Sanchez, the substitute, to Porro, inside to Romero. Kane receives it, back to goal in the centre circle, holds it up so well. And perhaps predictably, after they got goal number 5, Newcastle, things have calmed down a little bit, Ando. They just keep doing the same thing and go for more, don't they? As it's played back to Lloris and almost went for a corner. It will instead be a throw on the far side.
Hey, dear, oh dear, Romero's been all over the shop.
Trippier to Longstaff, back again, and now Cher. They just...
Game's over.
They just don't make any mistakes, Newcastle, no. And then they'll create opportunities to score more goals. That's how they'll play it, I'm sure. Joelinton with a chop and a flick down the line away from Porro. who fouled him. So just inside the Spurs half, in front of the two dugouts. BBC Radio Newcastle, Total Sport on tomorrow, not to be missed, 6 till 8. You can phone in to have your say. We're on every weekday evening for 2 hours from 6 on BBC Radio Newcastle. Floated ball to Trippier on the far side. Isak receives it, lifts it over the top. Longstaff's in the penalty area. Oh, he's brought it down well, Longstaff, and the challenge came in. Some appeals for a penalty, nothing given. Spurs clear it out to this near side. Burns being fouled by Kulusevski. This will do the goal difference of power of good. It's plus 29 at the moment, Newcastle. Spurs will be down to 7, which could affect them with the teams below sensing an opportunity. Longstaff to Bruno, on to Trippier. It's lovely one-touch Newcastle football, and it's Murphy getting there in the corner. Perisic with a challenge, corner kick, despite Spurs appeals for goal kick. 5-0, 38th minute, quickly taken. Murphy to Trippier. Longstaff, his through ball, which was on the floor, was cut out, but they've won it back, Newcastle. Bruno on the move, right side, cross hits Højbjerg, and Bruno with a flick pass back to Murphy. Inside to Willock, middle of midfield. Joe Linton, first time to Willock. Fabian Schär's currently left wing. Trippier on the far side, into Bruno. Look at the space for Bruno.
Oh, I know, it's unbelievable.
Spurs standing off. Every pass greeted by an Ole. Willock, still Fabian Schär at outside left. He gets it into Willock, flick back to Schär. Oh. Spurs get a touch on the ball to divert it away from goal, but it's Bruno over to Murphy. It's been utter dominance and a demolition of Spurs, who've won the ball back through Skip, and then Longstaff's got it edge of the area. Oh, taken down Longstaff, but here's a chance for another goal, and it's Willock over the top. David Coote let play go on, and it's probably a fair advantage. There's the challenge came in on Longstaff. They wanted a foul, but Newcastle still had the opportunity to attack, and Joe Willock probably should have scored, but he slammed it over the top.
Yeah, I mean, you're 5-0 down, and talk about shooting yourself in the foot. They just keep giving it away at the back. They're all over the place, Spurs. People will go, you know the way people have said we were poor last week against Villa? They'll go, oh, we were brilliant. We were absolutely brilliant. Spurs have been an absolute shambles. As good as we've been, Spurs have been a shambles. Champions League? You're kidding yourself, aren't you?
Heavy rain now hitting St James's Park. Willock to Isak, through for Willock, making a run, a burst through the centre. Porro back to Lloris, who gets it away, and Botman with a header on. Joe Linton towards Bruno. Burn back out to Bruno. He's got two Spurs players challenging for it. Kulusevski on to Kane. Botman's there, body between man and ball, and passes it back to Pope. And we're going to get that emergency alert sent to all our phones at 3 o'clock, which should be during the half-time break.
I think Spurs have already had theirs sent.
I was going to say the alarm bells have been ringing for Spurs, but they haven't been able to do anything about it, as Willock might go all the way. What a run from Willock, but the finish was deflected as it looped up over the top, cut inside and skipped past Spurs challenges.
What challenges?
Corner. Well,
what challenges? He's cut inside. Nobody's come and closed him down. Well, big acres of space.
There were two. There's one at the start and one at the end. Will they get a sixth before half-time, Ando?
Don't know, but somebody rang in on Friday, said they'd backed us at 66-1 to win 5-0. I think he's going to be out of luck.
Trippier. Outswinging corner, it's high. It's Dan Burn who's beaten to the ball. That'll go for Newcastle throw. 5 yards from the corner flag on the left. 42nd minute, BBC Radio Newcastle. If that was you who rang in and backed them at 5-0, give us a call tomorrow night to Total Sport.
Yeah.
You might put another bet on.
Say how disappointed you are that they scored more than 5.
I hope you've cashed out.
Yeah.
Willock, he's just spun away from Højbjerg. Longstaff, 2 options to the right. Trippier takes it and sticks in the cross, headed away from goal by the big man in the middle. Joelinton to Bruno, edge of the box. Isak tried to get it back through to Bruno. Sean Longstaff deflected just wide from the edge of the area.
It could be anything. Could be absolutely anything. There's no way in the world the goals have dried up here. There's more coming.
Could be a short corner. It's Trippier to Bruno. Trippier gives him another angle and whips in the cross. Header out by Christian Romero. Murphy has hit one from distance. Didn't hit it that time. His ball inside to Botman. He might fancy his first Newcastle goal today.
They all would.
Back to Trippier in front of halfway. 5-0. This is Bruno threading it through. They've got 2 on the run, and Davinson Sanchez took significant action for Tottenham.
Look at the space in
Newcastle
there.
Having another chance to shoot at goal in the area. This is Bruno up to Isak, back to the Brazilian. Outside of the right boot with a pass to Willock on the left wing. Inside to Joelinton towards Isak. Skip got back and cleared. Botman on halfway into Cher. Lifted to Dan Burn, left wing in the corner. Go on. Taking it back. Nothing too outrageous. Joelinton to Bruno. Pings it out to Trippier. Plenty of black and white shirts in the middle. Spurs trying to shut off all the space. The space is out wide with Murphy, who has a touch. Heads for the line. Digs out the cross. Just fractionally too high for Willock. Burn in the box, gets tackled. Spurs clear it.
Just kick it anywhere.
We're all getting soaked to the skin. As Bruno passes it to Trippier, who's basically playing like an extra central midfielder. Murphy from the right, whipped it into the middle, headed away. 30 seconds before we should see the numbers board, though they might not even bother. It's barely been a stoppage, apart from celebrating 5 Newcastle goals. Sven Botman to Jacob Murphy, down the line to Sean Longstaff, back into Bruno. John Brooks is going to give us a numbers board here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Joelinton, there's plenty of space, there's opportunities, and there's Joe Willock now on the ball. Bruno again, 2 additional minutes. Trippier with lots of room and a low ball. Willock let it run for Isak and he slipped.
2 minutes.
And Son running away with it. He's the only player, with Kane now in support, and Fabian Schär makes the block. Bruno pushes it away, but only as far as Højbjerg, and Kulusevski
take it to the corner.
Attack down the right, trying to get around Joelinton. Wanted a foul. Absolutely no chance. Isak, middle of Newcastle's half, to Willock, now on the right wing. He's been everywhere, and Isak steaming through the middle to get into the forward line, but the ball doesn't come. Trippier scoops it up to Longstaff, back to Trippier, heads it to Longstaff on halfway. It's played against Perisic. Son to Højbjerg. They just want to get on the bus and go home, don't they, Tottenham? They've got a bit of possession in Newcastle's half as we await the whistle. Sanchez to Dyer in the centre circle. Perisic intercepted by Cher. Longstaff plays it to the right to Trippier. They wanted to go forwards, now they do. It's Willock with Sanchez, who's headed it straight to Murphy, edge of the penalty area. Here's Bruno, pushed out wide by a challenge. Still on the attack, Newcastle. Bruno to Murphy. Good feet by Murphy, gets the shot away. Curls it around the post, left-footed. And there is half-time. A half-time whistle and has been greeted like no other half-time whistle. Newcastle unchanged for the second 45. Pope, Trippier, Cher, Bottom and Burn, Longstaff, Bruno, Willock, Murphy, Joelinton and Isak, the 3 goal scorers. And Spurs, Forster, Porro, Romero, Sanchez, Dyer, Perisic, Skip, Højbjerg, Kulusevski, Son, Kane. BBC Radio Newcastle, NUFC TV. Did you enjoy the half-time break, Ando?
Nice cup of tea, yeah. Here we go, another one.
Murphy into the penalty area on the right, taking on Perisic, goes for the line, ticks the cross towards the near post. Fraser Forster catches, but it was an easy catch for him in truth.
3/4 of the Spurs fans have all gone home. You can't blame them.
No, you can't. I mean, it's one thing losing by 5 away from home, and it happens to most clubs, but to be that far behind inside 21 minutes. Bruno to Isak, back to Bruno. Newcastle kicking left to right as we look towards the Gallagher end. Burn into the corner from a pass from Joelinton. He's fronted up Porro. He's potentially won a corner. Oh, it's bouncing in the middle. Longstaff in the area. Longstaff couldn't get the shot away. Thought the ball was going to loop behind for a corner. Tottenham didn't know what to do with it, and it was just hanging. And Longstaff with a header, and then an attempted blocked shot.
Dear, oh dear.
Murphy inside away from Perisic. Bruno, good cross, big chance, but Isak got underneath.
Just couldn't climb enough.
Got underneath it with just,
yeah, he just couldn't get over it, could he?
Another interesting statistic that caught my eye before the match was that Newcastle haven't finished above Spurs since 2003-2004, when they were 5th and Tottenham finished 11th on that occasion. There'll be a pretty good bet for it this season though. 5-0 BBC Radio Newcastle. Mercifully the rain has held off for a few minutes.
Need the sun to come out.
Did you get the alert on your phone?
I did.
Yeah.
It said Newcastle United 5, Spurs 0.
What was the warning? There might be more goals in the second half. But it didn't interrupt the match anyway. It went off, I think, for most of us during the half-time interval. Throw for the away side, middle of their half of the field, far right-hand side. Kane has dropped deep once again to receive it. Sanchez to Forster. It's a touch with his left foot, and then with his right pushes it out to Eric Dyer. Driven down the line, but Cher there on his chest. Son behind him. Cher goes away down the wing. The ball had just stayed in, but Spurs have it back anyway. Dyer to goalkeeper Forster on the 6-yard line. Isak close. Forster's chipped it across to Porro. He actually had a spell in the team until I think the middle of last month. Fraser Forster, about 5 or 6 weeks while Lloris was injured.
Do you think Lloris came off with shock?
This is Kane. Could be away down the left. Got to watch it here, Newcastle. Protect the clean sheet. Kane away from Cher. Harry Kane into the bottom corner for Spurs. And that is Kane's 26th goal of the season. And it's the 7th time as a visiting player he has scored at St James's Park. And they will be furious, Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall, that they do not have their clean sheet early in the second half. Tottenham have got one back. It's 5-1.
Good finish. mean, he's just stood Cher up, hasn't he? Cher had a little pop on him, little pull back on his short as well. It's a good finish. Gets himself in those areas. We know what he's about. And the boy doesn't win his bet.
Oh no. He had 5-0. But we could still have a repeat of the 7-1 in 96. Spurs have won it back in midfield. The first half was so dominant, so ridiculous really, that more Spurs goals would not be a fair reflection of where we are up to this point, but it could suggest that the second half would not be as comfortable. Maybe you wouldn't expect that anyway, but I mean, given how bad they were, what level are they of capability do they have to improve to the necessary extent?
No.
Ball over the top by Dyer. Botman lets it go back through to Pope. Burn back to the goalkeeper. Big swing through the ball. Dyer chests it. Isak chases. And it's played to Forster. Forwards to Romero in the D. Comes into midfield where Son takes it on the turn. And now down the Tottenham left to Perisic. Trippier out there to him. Perisic cuts inside, goes for it. And it's just over the top.
Better from Spurs. A little bit more intent.
'51st minute on BBC Radio Newcastle. Target Almiron Lascelles warming up. Are you surprised? We talked about this in the first half, but that Spurs didn't make more changes. They do have outfield players, I guess, that they could bring on, but they changed their goalkeeper at the break, having already made one sub in the first half, one substitution.
I think with a performance like we've seen in the opening 45 minutes from them, I think it's unfair on substitutes to bring them on and say, yeah, go and get us out of this. I think it's...
Dan Burn, just committed, tenacious play, following the ball inside and moving it across to Murphy. Back to Bruno, sidesteps Højbjerg. That was nice. It's Longstaff. He's got the angle. Just
needed a touch.
Narrowly wide. They want a corner.
They've got one, but he just needed a touch from Isak. He just needed to hit him. How did he not get a touch on that?
It was the clip off the defender Romero as Longstaff lined it up in the box right side. I think he was trying to pick out Willock and Isak, and it was Isak, wasn't it, there first?
I think it's a shot. I think it's a shot that's taken a deflection off the defender, and Isak coming in back stick just couldn't get a touch on it. It just needed to hit him. It would have flown into the back of the net.
Millimetres away from his first Newcastle hat-trick. Trippier's corner. Dan Burn! Oh no! Blocked on the way through. Fabian Schär blocked on the line, and it's offside. Oh, flying Dan Burn almost made it 6.
He doesn't get a great deal on the header, does he? He's got to get more on it. Well, I know he's got one goal this season, but he should have an awful lot more.
Well, it was whipped in, and thought the net was just going to burst. And then Schär hit one as well on the follow-up towards the bottom corner.
Flag was up.
But the flag had gone up anyway. And although Spurs have come into it more with a bit more ball and attacking play, as Kane sees it cut out by Trippier. Go on, Isak on the turn, drags it back, lovely feet. And Willock with a run through the middle. Isak has gone out to the wide right area and slipped on the greasy surface, and Perisic with good skill, and then Isak gets back to shove him off the ball and roll in Willock down the right, but his first touch presents it to Romero, and Forster.
See, that's been the difference, the desire from both sides. Total commitment from us. Spurs half-hearted in everything that they've done.
Skip charging forwards through midfield. Kulusevski to Porro, edge of the area, deflected cross, corner.
Spoke about it beforehand, didn't we? Who wanted it more? Whose desire was there? Stood out like a sore thumb, hasn't it?
It's going to be Porro who's going to deliver the corner. Eddie Howe's got all of his players back defending. 5-1 now with the Kane goal back. We've had 10 minutes of the second half. Porro, a decent pace on the ball, headed up but away from goal. Might have come off a Spurs head, I'm not sure, but Son back to skip on halfway. Newcastle can shuffle forwards now, and Højbjerg on the diagonal. Trippier, what a lovely header that is, from out wide, backpedaling into the hands of Nick Pope. Unbeaten Newcastle, by the way, before today in all 11 matches against teams from London this season. That looks set to continue. Murphy onto Trippier, middle of Tottenham's half. Not many options up ahead in the middle. It's inside to central midfield, and Bruno Guimaraes over to Dan Burn. Joelinton. Burn went on down the line. Willock. It's it back to Botman, forwards through a little gap to Bruno, and then helped on first time to Trippier, getting it over towards Isak into the penalty area. Romero's got a free kick.
It's never a free kick.
No, I don't think did he even touch him. Got the ball first and then took a tumble.
Yeah, linesman's flagged. Not the referee that gave, it's the linesman that flagged for it.
Isak now needs to get away from the ball. Eddie Howe, Jason Tindall together in the technical area. Tindall with the defence, Howe pulling Murphy back into position. Fraser Forster moving the ball before lifting it into Newcastle's half. Trippier with the header behind Perisic. Bruno through the legs of Højbjerg, and Willock could lift it on towards Joelinton. Davinson Sanchez heads it down. Joelinton making a right nuisance of himself. Sanchez has given it away. Longstaff tripped by Perisic, and that is Newcastle's free kick.
What are they doing, Spurs?
Swarm around Spurs players.
But you don't need to swarm around them. They just want all day to do everything.
There's so much hesitancy and uncertainty about their play, particularly when the ball's put into good areas from Newcastle. Murphy's hanging back. Trippier's going to hang the ball up into the box with Burn right in the centre. Botman on the 18-yard line, sharing the D. It's about 30 yards from goal on the right. Trippier behind it. Gets good pace and curl on the ball, but it had gone behind. In any case, players weren't able to attack
it. Free kick.
Because there was a collision on the edge of the box, and as Ando says, Burn has conceded a free kick. Forced a quick one. 3 black and white shirts there. Murphy rises to head it. Burn attempting to help it on, but Kulusevski's got the ball. They looked quickly for Son over the top, but Newcastle, good defending, leading 5-1. Forster has almost stumbled and lost the ball on the edge of his penalty area. Was trying to do something fancy, feigning to go one way then the other, but he got closed down and almost lost it, and Joelinton charged down a clearance from a Spurs defender as they play it to Højbjerg in the penalty box from a short goal kick. Dyer on his thigh, lifted away. Trippier header on. Romero to Son. Kulusevski right of centre. Porro in an advanced position, went beyond. The passes
got lucky,
wayward, but
got really lucky.
Højbjerg got to it first. The Danish international, formerly of Southampton. A switch from left to right. Porro through the legs of Burn, but no foul as he hit the deck. Bruno to Burn, left full-back position. Newcastle win a goal kick. We have at least seen Spurs attack in this second half, which they didn't do in the first.
But we've taken our foot off the gas a little bit. It's only to be expected. 5-0 up at half time. in cruise control.
Newcastle heading back up to third, and they'd be 9 points clear of Liverpool in 7th, 8th ahead of Aston Villa in 6th, and they'd be 6 on from Spurs. Joelinton competing for the ball on the far side and winning a throw as it goes out of Kulusevski. BBC Radio Newcastle, it's 5-1. Axel Forster, middle of the penalty box. Willett got close to him as he released it. Botman forcing Kane all the way out to the left side in his own half, having taken the ball under control. Murphy, pressure on Dyer. Skip receives it, that's good, moving it on to Højbjerg. In midfield, Perisic back into Højbjerg on halfway. Best bit of Tottenham football in the match. Sanchez up from the back. After their shocking start, they're trying to play a bit. Kulusevski, right wing, 20 yards from Newcastle's goal. His crosses hit Sanchez. Joelinton away. Romero forwards, finding Son, corner of the area. Onto his left, Son Heung-min. Blocked. Kulusevski to Pedro Porro and Son, 5 yards from Newcastle's penalty area. Still on that far side, Tottenham. Sanchez around Joelinton into the corner.
It's a goal kick.
It is a goal kick. Bruno made the challenge. And behind it went. And we're into the 62nd minute now. When will Eddie Howe think about introducing players from the bench? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, why take chances with these players? Big game coming up on Thursday at Everton. You would say that this is over. It's just all about not doing anything silly and just seeing it out.
Down at the moment, receiving treatment is Joelinton. Physio's come on. And there'll be a wait before they're able to resume and take the goal kick. They have got options if they want to make that sort of change. Isak comes over to have a drink. 7 in 7 in the Premier League for Isak.
Yeah, he's a player, isn't he? A real player.
2 chances he had, you just didn't think anything else was going to...
Yeah, he's just a natural finisher,
happen,
isn't he?
Other than the ball hitting the back of the net. Joelinton's on his feet, he's off the pitch at the moment, walking down the touchline. He could be able to come back on when the referee says so. Pope's goal kick. Lights are on at St James's Park. And Pope into the Spurs half. Joelinton told to come back on now by the referee as Spurs have the ball back. Dyer to Perisic, stretching, so slammed it down this near side. Son's getting there before Cher. Down this side of the penalty area, Son onto his right. This is big trouble for Newcastle. Son, good block.
What a block that is.
Sven Botman, and then volleyed at goal by Pedro Porro, but off target.
And he's always going to do Cher for pace, isn't he? In that foot race, there was only one winner. Important block by Botman because that shot was on target.
Wilson, Almiron, Anderson and Gordon are there warming up. Joelinton dispossessed on the far side. I will not want to see any sloppiness or mistakes come into Newcastle's performance. Now into the box from Spurs from Porro on the right. It's put away for a throw. and they're having a decent spell, the visitors, but Newcastle still lead by 5 goals to 1. Almiron is about to be introduced.
Jacob Murphy.
He won't get his hat-trick then.
Or Willock.
Willock's been really good. Here's the throw. Hedge is headed out for another one by Joelinton, about 20 to 25 yards from Newcastle's goal at the Leazes end. Porro to Kane. Dyer on halfway. Wilson is ready as well. Eddie Howe with an arm around both players and then pat on the back. Isak might end up being stuck on 2 goals as well unless they change the system, take someone else off. Brought back by the referee for a sliding challenge from Trippier on Perisic. Tottenham with a free kick, and Isak
coming off with 14. Alexander Isak
is being replaced by Wilson. Straight swap. Standing ovation. Isak and Murphy also won't get the chance to score a hat-trick.
And replacing him, number 24,
Almiron coming on right side of midfield. Big smiles from Murphy as always. Isak, high five by all the coaching staff. And 2 players who've each scored twice go off, and 2 quality players come on in their in place of them as their replacements. In the 66th minute, and Wilson has scored each time he's played for Newcastle against Spurs. 3 appearances, 3 goals. Another one would be nice. Puck comes to the left side of the area to catch a ball and throw it along the floor to the feet of Willock. Joelinton on the left touchline, starts to run and skips inside through the legs of his man. Wilson's been fouled from behind by Dyer in a midfield position, and we have a free kick taken quickly for Newcastle by Wilson. Bruno out to the right wing, Almiron inside, it's quick play, Longstaff to Trippier on the overlap. Ball to Almiron, edge of the area, it's deflected, it's in! Callum Wilson, who has got goal number 6, and he joins Almiron at the top of the charts in black and white this season on 11, and he does score every time he plays against Spurs. 4 in 4 against them for Newcastle United, who have restored that 5-goal cushion. A Wilson tap in from close range. Newcastle United 6, Tottenham Hotspur 1.
Well, he's not going to score a simpler goal, is he? Almiron does well, picks it up. Trippier involved down this right side. It's a little toe poke, isn't it? Takes the deflection straight into the path of Wilson.
Newcastle United
Never going to miss him there.
Hotspur 1. And the latest score, number 9, Callum Wilson.
Was it a shot, you think, from Almiron?
I think he was off balance, wasn't he? He's trying to, I don't know what he was doing. He was just moving towards the goal. They've won it back from the Tottenham kickoff. Joelinton going around a couple of sliding challenges, and then Spurs eventually win it back. Anthony Gordon will be next on in Newcastle colours. Bruno, great challenge in midfield as Tottenham look to break. Bruno then got fouled, referee says play on. Longstaff back to Share, and Trippier, who played a part in that goal. This is Almiron. I mean, if you've conceded 5 and you're feeling sorry for yourself, the last thing you probably want is Almiron with his speed and constant running coming at you. Joelinton to Willock on the touchline on that far side, and he's got a throw, and Javier Manquillo will get a rare appearance. Bruno is being replaced by Gordon. That'll put Joelinton into a holding midfield role. And Kieran Trippier also gets a break. And he's going to give the armband, I think, to Callum Wilson. Wilson takes over as captain. And another double change by Eddie Howe, with Thursday at Everton in mind, and Southampton at home next Sunday as well, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, look, game's over, you've restored that 5-goal lead. Important period of the season. Get rests into these boys.
Also coming off number 2, Kieran Trippier replacing him, number 19, Javier Manquillo.
Here's the throw from Newcastle. Wilson back to goal in the area, looking for room for the shot. Joelinton might have it. It was rolled back to Joelinton, who did get an effort away, but it didn't travel far before being blocked. Share on. Joelinton header, a stretching Dyer onto this near side. Manquillo with more Spanish-speaking support from Manquillo and Almiron there. As Kane tackles Joelinton, Manquillo with a block. Cher drives it over to the far side, but straight to Porro. Fabian Scher's gone down. Could be a hamstring situation. Manquillo's won the ball back, and they're going to put it out Newcastle so that Fabian Scher can receive treatment. Helped up by Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Activity on the away bench now. We could be seeing a substitution. Cher has gone back down, sitting down, and called for the physio. First change.
Coming off the 21.
Dejan Kulusevski replaced by Arnaut Danjuma. The Nigerian-born Dutch international. He's a wide player, a forward. As I mentioned before the match, someone Eddie Howe knows well because he signed him for Bournemouth. 13 million the summer before they were relegated. It's 6-1. It was 5-0 at half-time. Kane pulled one back. Wilson scored to restore that 5-goal advantage. And there's another Premier League match underway, another 2 o'clock kickoff this afternoon, and it's West Ham away to Bournemouth. I'm not sure what the latest score is.
3-0.
Still 3-0 to West Ham.
4-0.
It's just gone 4-0. Pablo Fornals has made it 4-0. So West Ham on for a big win. Fabian Scher is going to have to come off, and that is a concern. He has having a long chat with him. I don't think he wants to come off, or maybe they're just discussing the problem, or is he going to go back on? This is all a bit confusing. John Anderson. Now Scher's gone back on. Jamal Lascelles was ready, taking off his.
Well, if it's a hamstring, what are they doing? Well, it's obviously not a hamstring.
It looked like he was feeling his hamstring, but it could have been the back of his knee, specifically. He'll play on for a bit. Manquillo keeping it in, onto the chest of Wilson with a hooked pass. Back to Joelinton. Willock lets it run and then turns it back to Byrne, just behind halfway. Gordon. It'd be good to see him get involved in some meaningful stuff in the final third. Good off the bench a couple of times, Man United and Brentford in particular. Share up to Wilson. Oh, he's completely spun and rolled Christian Romero, who is now the recipient of a yellow card, and the change which will see the skipper Jamal Lascelles come on is about to be made, and Fabian Scher is withdrawn.
Yeah, he just got far too tight, didn't he, Romero? Wilson's just rolled him.
Another standing ovation for the popular Swiss international. Lascelles has got the armband from Wilson. And we're into the 74th minute. It's 6-1 here on BBC Radio Newcastle.
Substitution for Newcastle.
Mankio to Almiron on the right wing. First touch for Lascelles. Botman. Joelinton over to Lascelles. Loads of space on the near side. And it seems as though the Spurs fight back in inverted commas when they had a few attacks and scored a goal. It's probably finished, you would say, in all likelihood. Newcastle, after getting the sixth, gone back to what we had earlier, really, in it not really being much of an offering from the away side, as even more of their followers head home. If you want post-match reaction, follow us on Twitter at BBC Newcastle or the Facebook page BBC Radio Newcastle, and we'll put on there some of our post-match interviews. There's another call for Total Sport from 6 tomorrow until 8. Phone in and hear lots of discussion and analysis on the weekend's games. Mankio making a block on Perisic's flick down the line, and that's gone for a throw. They could be on for their biggest win of the season, and Owen, I think what will be their biggest win in all competitions since they scored 7 at Morecambe in September 2020 in the League Cup. This is Son, just outside the area. Gordon gets in the way, and that's run through towards Mankio. Could have gone to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, he was expecting the keeper to come. Not too sure why he didn't come and pick that up, Pope.
It's put out instead for a throw by Mankio on the near side. Skip to Romero, Dyer to Romero, centre circle. Dan Burns won it back and got it again from Gordon, and he's on the charge, turns, gets tackled by Sanchez and played forwards down the right touchline by Spurs, and they've mopped up effectively enough, giving it to Dyer in the penalty box. Lascelles pushing it on with a good challenge, but black and white shirts can't get there, and it's Spurs away. Kane second to the ball after Byrne, but he's won it from Dan Byrne, Harry Kane, and then Sven Botman throws himself into a tackle and has stayed sitting down. Botman, referee's gone jogging across to check on him. 77 minutes, 6-1. Botman's back up. It's a free kick actually for one of the challenges in there. Could have been Byrne on Kane, it might have been Botman. Pretty sure Botman got rid of the ball, so maybe it was for the earlier one. Pedro Porro, left arm in the air, right-footed delivery. It's got good pace on it, and it's Lascelles with the Newcastle header clear. And they've made all 5 substitutions. Son, Lascelles being the 5th player to come on. Højbjerg floated over towards Dyer, heads it back in. Scored a late own goal in this fixture last season. Eric Dyer, Newcastle looking for number 7 with Willock away down the left. Almiron to the right, Wilson in the centre, Gordon there as well. Willock to Anthony Gordon! It's cleared off the line, and it's a corner kick.
Should score.
Dinked it around the goalkeeper Forster. Wilson was fancying a tap in at the back post, but it didn't reach him. Spurs scramble it behind.
Yeah, it's a chance for him to get his first goal in black and white, wasn't it? Big chance. Hits the keeper with it.
Gordon to take the corner kick, right-footed on the Newcastle left. Byrne is at the back stick. Gordon, it's not a bad one, but it's headed away by a Spurs player on the 6-yard line. Willock lifts it back out to that left side to Anthony Gordon. Almiron on the overlap, he's received it from Gordon, inside to Longstaff, back to Joelinton. Teased out to Gordon again, taking on Porro, and they've won another corner. Defender got there, got in the way, but it was a heavy touch from Porro that carried it behind, and Gordon has a chance to stick another ball in.
Load the box up again.
Joelinton in the 6-yard box with 4 others in black and white shirts. Lascelles near the penalty spot, hung up by Gordon. Lascelles, this is Joelinton. It's stopped by Sanchez. Appeals for handball from the shot from Joelinton. Nothing given by the referee, who now gives a free kick.
Yeah, he's right as well.
Son trying
Willock's got a hold of him.
wriggle free from a ball forwards, middle of Tottenham half. Frustrating for Newcastle. David Coote with that decision. Richarlison is coming on shortly. Danjuma on towards Kane, stopped by skipper Lascelles. Longstaff to Almiron. Wilson on the shoulder of the last defender, but Almiron delayed the ball and Wilson was 3 or 4 yards offside by the time it came. Danjuma's down and needs treatment. Whistle's gone. How has it? Lascelles has put it out anyway. Spurs medical man comes running on. Joelinton made the challenge. Danjuma just came off worse. He's limping. Jason Tindall's called Callum Wilson over while he has a drink. They have a good conversation with Tindall doing most of the talking. Could have been in again if the ball had been played immediately.
Ball needed to be played earlier. It was a poor ball as well, wasn't it?
Danjuma's back up. He's going to have to come off the field to then go back on, and Richarlison, who is yet to score a league goal following his £60 million transfer from Everton last summer. Dyer's thrown it back to Pope. He's got to do it again because
Danjuma didn't go off the pitch, did he?
Dyer correctly, sportingly, back to Newcastle. Pope picks it up in the box, Botman to the left. Burns stretched the play out to the far side. It's rolled underarm to Botman. Burns available, and that's where it goes. Players down the line looking for it. It's in towards Wilson, headed on by Romero, and out off Joelinton's head, and Son is being replaced by Richarlison. 83 minutes on BBC Radio Newcastle.
For Tottenham Hotspur, coming off number 7,
6-1 Newcastle lead.
Richarlison.
This is Pope with a big long kick forwards and header by Sanchez to Porro. Richarlison couldn't hold it. Joelinton to Willock. Burn to Joelinton on the halfway line. Joe Willock now taking charge. Almiron available short. Manquillo's gone into space down the right, but it's back to Botman and Lascelles. Rolled onto Longstaff. Up to Manquillo now. Takes it back inside. And tackle comes in, but he's been able to find Lascelles. Middle of Newcastle's half. Botman to Joelinton. Højbjerg behind him. He's used it really nicely there, Joelinton, under pressure. Burn over halfway and left for Willock. Possession for Newcastle through Joelinton, and now Longstaff to Lascelles. Almiron's available short, just past halfway, gets it onto Manquillo, taken out. Almiron. Newcastle want the match stopped, and the referee was going to let the advantage go. Eric Dyer might have saved himself from a yellow card by going to apologise and pick Almiron up. (6-1) the lead. Newcastle got 5 inside 21 minutes in the first half, the opening 21 minutes that is. Kane scored early in the second half, but Wilson, shortly after coming off the bench, made it 6. Manquillo intercepts a Tottenham ball forwards. Almiron, this is quicker from Newcastle, who want goal number 7. Across to Willock, on to Gordon, who came close a few moments ago. Down the line for Byrne. 2 in the middle. Almiron's got it. Oh, he's tried to help it onto Gordon, and it's headed away. Almiron's found Manquillo 30 yards out. Longstaff to Almiron. Support from Willock. Plays a short ball to Willock. Back through for Almiron. Right side of the penalty area. Back onto his left foot to Manquillo, who lifts it over to the far side, but it's running out to the touchline where Dan Byrne keeps it in. A nice little ball slipped forwards to Gordon near the corner, and trying to get around his former Everton teammate Richarlison. Gordon's blocked the clearance from Pedro Porro, who got back to help out and double up, and that'll be a goal kick.
Yeah, it's all gone flat. 5 minutes. This is a game that was over after 10 minutes. You know, we all could have packed our bags and went home then. It's been very, very comfortable. You thought Spurs would come out, might be a reaction, but there hasn't really. There's been no reaction whatsoever. We've taken our foot off the gas a little bit, but it's been very, very comfortable.
Fraser Forster, the half-time substitute, straight out of play on the halfway. Longstaff leaves it for Manquillo. 4 minutes of normal time remaining. Manquillo's throw into Wilson, who rises and chests down. Oh, lovely drag back to take 2 players out of it. And then the pass from Wilson is behind Willock and Gordon, but the latter has kept it in on the far touchline in front of the east stand. Willock over the top towards Longstaff. Perisic's header. It's come for Almiron, who heads it inside, and Romero volleys clear. Lascelles. Manquillo. Joelinton to Willock. He would love a goal against Spurs, being the Arsenal boy. Did get Newcastle a late equaliser here behind closed doors a couple of years ago against Spurs. He's involved there with Gordon, flicking it back to Anthony Gordon, now in central midfield. Joelinton to Longstaff. Go and get one more. Manquillo down the line to Almiron, and back again. Wilson in the middle. It's with Joelinton 30 yards out. He's looking to come inside, instead goes to Lascelles on halfway. Forwards down the right to Manquillo. Botman to Joelinton, back again towards Botman, who's having to stretch, but he's got there and completed the pass to Byrne. Into Joelinton, onto Willock, bit of room on the left wing now. Went for the pass with the outside of the right boot into Gordon, but it's intercepted. 6-1 up Newcastle. Sanchez taking it down the wing. Richarlison, the pass to sliding Gordon to win something, maybe a corner. He's got the ball inside to Danjuma, and he's had a right-footed shot that was straight at Nick Pope, who palms it down and then picks it up.
Yeah, good hit, straight at the keeper though.
Lascelles to Manquillo, takes it back into the area to Botman and Byrne. 89th minute. Lofted up by Botman towards halfway. Gordon trying to win it back on the touchline. Willock involved as well, but it's with Spurs and Perisic. Skip towards Richarlison, who tried a flick, but it's back with Newcastle, and Willock over halfway. Goes outside of Skip, and it's through for Gordon to chase. Romero back to Forster. It's gone Almiron for a throw. Back in play now with Willock and Joe Linton. They've been able to give Bruno and Trippier a breather, take off Isak. 6-1 up, final minute of the 90 on BBC Radio Newcastle. Willock with a lovely turn, a couple of turns actually, on the left side. Gordon back to Longstaff, Manquillo and Almiron available. It's Almiron who comes in off the wing to bring it down and pass it to Lascelles. Came on for Cher after Cher received treatment. Joe Linton to Byrne and Gordon. 40 yards out, Joe Linton into Longstaff. It's gone back over to that left side. Byrne, Gordon down the line, gets it back to Byrne. John Brooks, the fourth official, with the numbers board. Joe Linton, that's just so expertly done away from Højbjerg. Heading towards goal. 3 minimum minutes are added to the game. Almiron, Willock, deflected shot, and the keeper's going to catch it on the 6-yard line. Maxwell Cornet, he's made it 5-0 to West Ham at Bournemouth. Another big win. Forster straight onto the left boot of Sven Botman. Almiron's prevented it going for a throw. Manquillo up towards Wilson, but intercepted by Højbjerg. Skip with his teammate now inside at the back of the centre circle, plays it to Højbjerg through the middle. It's Byrne who's had to chase back and get that, and with a good bit of skill, it's the better of Richarlison. I think he was expecting Pope to come though.
Yeah.
The Cornet goal ruled out after VAR, so it's 4-0 for West Ham at Bournemouth. Tottenham free kick in added on time here. Spurs haven't won outside of London since October, and having been 3-0 down after 9 minutes, they were never going to win here either. Never mind 5-0 down after 21. 6-1 as we head towards the final minute and a half of the additional time. That's a first half that will never be forgotten. Nick Pope, goal kick. Straight through the middle. Højbjerg heads it backwards. Wilson might be onto it. Skip gets to the ball. Dyer to Romero. Forster has a touch. Wilson closing down, and it's a throw the way of Spurs. Porro is the player with it. Drops it at the feet of Sanchez. Played against Gordon. Wilson still battling, still competing hard. Newcastle. Højbjerg away from a couple of black and white shirts. And this is to Kane. Danjuma's offside, but Perisic isn't on this near Tottenham left, just outside the box. Tackled by Longstaff and Almiron, and they could get away. They could get one more and make it 7. Manquillo with a forward run, played in by Almiron, but he's let it go for a throw. There's still a bit of time. No, there isn't. Doesn't matter anyway, because they have recorded one of the great victories of not just this fantastic season,